Did you know for A Christmas Story, in 2005, the 19th century Victorian home used for the exterior shots of the Parker family home was put up for auction on eBay? The Cleveland, Ohio home was purchased for $150,000 by an avid fan of the film named Brian Jones. Jones then spent the following year restoring the home to the way it looked on screen. The exterior was completely restored, and the interior was renovated to match the interior of the home shown in the movie. Parts of the interior were actually filmed in a Toronto studio. On November 25, 2006, the home finally opened its doors as a tourist attraction. Jones spent close to $500,000 in preparation for this grand opening. In addition, he also purchased a house across the street and converted it into a gift shop and museum dedicated to the film in the house. 2. According to director Bob Clark, Jack Nicholson was given the script and was very much interested in the role of Mr. Parker, the old man. However, Clark didn't learn of this until later, and the studio didn't want to pay Nicholson's fee anyway, which would have doubled the budget. Regardless, Clark said that Darren McGavin was still the better choice and was born to play the role. Did you know for Rocketman, Sir Elton John told Taron Egerton to not copy him too much in the film and find his own version of the role? 2. One of the biggest challenges that Sir Elton John faced in trying to get this project moving forward is that many producers told him they wanted to make a 12-rated film. John told them all the same thing, that he had not led a 12-rated life. 3. Taron Egerton wears 53 different pairs of glasses throughout the film. 4. Tom Hardy was attached to star, and the film went into development for nearly 3 years. When Hardy's busy schedule conflicted, he dropped out of the lead role. 5. Rami Malek was originally to make a cameo appearance, reprising his role as Freddie Mercury from Bohemian Rhapsody to display the friendship between Mercury and Elton. However, the producers ultimately scrapped the idea. The BBC's film critic Mark Kermode praised Rocketman for taking risks in its portrayal of Sir Elton John, in stark contrast to Bohemian Rhapsody, which was widely criticized for being a sanitized, family-friendly version of his friend Freddie Mercury. Did you know for Superman, according to Sir Roger Moore's autobiography, he witnessed Christopher Reeve walking through the canteen at Pinewood Studios in full Superman costume, oblivious to the swooning female admirers he left in his wake. When he did the same thing dressed as Clark Kent, no one paid any attention. Very interestingly, something similar happened with Harold Lloyd. When he wasn't filming movies and removed his iconic round glasses, nobody paid attention to him to the point that no one recognized him as the famous actor he was. Lloyd was the inspiration for Superman's alter ego Clark Kent, especially in the detail of the glasses to hide himself from the public eye in his civilian identity. 2. Initially, Gene Hackman refused to shave off his mustache to play Lex Luthor. In early one-sheets of the movie, his face is featured with a mustache. Before Richard Donner and Hackman met face-to-face, Donner proposed to Hackman that if he would shave his mustache, Donner would shave his too, and Hackman agreed. It turned out later that Donner did not have a mustache at all. He wore a false mustache that he peeled off at the last moment. Did you know for Bad Santa, Billy Bob Thornton said that he's had 8-year-olds approach him about his role in the movie. Thornton was stunned that parents would even allow their kids to watch that movie at that age. 2. Jack Nicholson read the script and wanted to do the film, but had to turn it down because he was already committed to Something's Gotta Give. 3. Billy Bob Thornton has said that he was genuinely intoxicated during some of filming. In the escalator fall scene, he actually passed out after drinking 3 glasses of red wine for breakfast, followed by vodkas, cranberry juice, and a few Bud Lights. 4. Tony Cox ad-libbed the "you probably shouldn't be digging in your ass" line. Director Terry Zwigoff found the line so funny that he admitted to repeatedly cracking up on set and even waking up in the middle of the night, laughing. 5. In his autobiography, The Billy Bob Tapes, Billy Bob Thornton said that if he could go back to any time in his life and relive it, he listed this film, The Alamo, and when he worked for the Arkansas Highway Department in 1979. Did you know for The Holiday, this film was written specifically with Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jude Law, and Jack Black in mind. 2. Dustin Hoffman said that his cameo in the film was unplanned and not scripted. He was driving by the Blockbuster video shown in the film and saw all of the cameras and equipment, so he decided to stop in and see what was happening. Because he knew writer and director Nancy Meyers, they worked up a scene which ultimately made the final cut. 3. A few months after the movie came out, the popularity of house swapping was on the rise. So much so, in fact, that police in England had to issue a warning against swapping homes with strangers due to identity fraud and safety concerns. 4. The interior sets for Amanda's house were built on a soundstage and cost approximately $1 million, without exterior walls, a roof, plumbing, heating, and electricity. 5. Iris, played by Kate Winslet, lives in a tiny cottage, which contrasts sharply with Amanda, played by Cameron Diaz, and her stunning house. But in reality, thanks to UK property prices, an unspoiled cottage like that in a good location could easily be worth £1 million, not far off $2 million. Did you know for Klaus, director Sergio Pablos had wanted to do a traditionally animated feature film, but he wanted to see how the animation would have evolved without the switch to computer-generated animation. So the studio used CGI lighting techniques with hand-drawn animation to create a unique animation style for the story. 2. Neda Margreta Laba, who voiced the Sami girl Margu, did not speak any English. Sergio Pablos traveled all the way to Tromsø, Norway, where she lives, and did her whole recording session through translation and mimicry. 3. The fictional town of Smeerensburg was based on Smeerenburg, an actual town that existed in Norway. It used to be a prosperous whaling post during the 17th century. 4. It was originally planned for the Sami people to speak English, but this was later changed and they spoke only their native language in the movie. 5. When the animators were designing Smeerensburg, they used a lot of sharp angles and triangles to show that the environment wasn't friendly or comfortable. By contrast, Klaus's cabin and barn were made to look sturdy and strong, much like Klaus himself. Did you know for The Social Network, David Fincher's favorite line in the film is, "I'm just checking your math on that." Yes, I got the same thing. 2. Andrew Garfield was originally asked to audition for Mark Zuckerberg, but David Fincher decided he was too good at wearing his heart on his sleeve to play such an emotionally guarded character. Garfield found it helpful to go from reading for Mark to reading for Eduardo because he felt that Eduardo tried to understand Mark through Mark's point of view. 3. Andrew Garfield came into rehearsal with a copy of Economics for Dummies. Inspired by that move, Jesse Eisenberg bought C++ for Dummies. According to Eisenberg, both he and Garfield read the introductions of their books and then put them down. 4. As part of his research, Jesse Eisenberg read a copy of Mark Zuckerberg's college application. Zuckerberg's essay focused on his love of fencing, so Eisenberg took a couple of lessons. He quickly realized it affected his posture and the way he moved, and applied that knowledge to his portrayal of the character. 5. Aaron Sorkin's small role as the ad executive was not his own idea. David Fincher was reportedly very insistent that he do it. Did you know for Do the Right Thing, during the 1990 Oscar ceremony, while announcing the Best Picture nominees, Kim Basinger caused some controversy when she ignored her scripted text and said, "We've got 5 great films here, and they're great for one reason, because they tell the truth. But there is one film missing from this list that deserves to be on it, because ironically, it might tell the biggest truth of all, and that's Do the Right Thing." Spike Lee would later thank her for it in a 2019 episode of the podcast Unspooled. 2. According to former President Barack Obama at a fundraiser in New York City, he and First Lady Michelle Obama saw the movie on their first date in 1989, though they were also planning on seeing Driving Miss Daisy. Spike Lee later joked that their relationship would probably not have happened if Barack had chosen the latter. 3. Spike Lee originally wanted Robert De Niro for the role of Sal Fragione, but De Niro turned down the part, saying that it was too similar to many of the parts he had played in the past. In the end, the part went to Danny Aiello. De Niro's photo is one of the pictures that appear on Sal's Wall of Fame.